back to Mystery Mugs and Melanin Podcast. We're back with another episode. If you're new, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Celine.
And if you're returning, welcome back to your favorite coffee-fueled crime podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and join us on this journey into the often overlooked cases of women of color. So, hey, Celine, how have you been?
I've been good. How about you? How are things going?
I've been good. It's been busy, with the holidays just passed, the new year, everything is new and fresh. And, we hold ourselves to a higher standard at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, sometimes it lasts a few months and then it kind of fizzles out. Are you holding up with the cold weather?
Oh,
It's
no,
so
I'm not
cold.
holding up.
Me either.
I am not holding up with the cold weather. I cannot stand cold weather.
Me either. I went to go check the mail and I was like, okay, no.
Mm-mm. I've been blanket up to my neck, heater on, looking out the window. I mean, for you guys who are watching, you may not be in Texas, but here in Texas, when it gets cold, we shut down. We just shut down just the whole state. Just shut it down because we don't know how to deal with this. This is not our norm.
This is not for us at all. And from what I'm hearing, like in like West Texas, it's a little bit more like up in the Panhandle and stuff as well. It's colder there, so
yeah,
they're getting like actual snow and stuff.
Yes, I think someone was saying they're in was it East Texas? I feel like maybe West Texas, but they were saying like 1 degree, and I was like, no. All right, so let's get started. First of all, what's in your cup?
So it's so cold. I decided to take a break from the iced coffee and, actually just have a nice hot piping cup of coffee today. What about you?
So I'm with my roots, with my cold brew, caramel, cold brew, best drink ever.
Definitely tell us in the comments what you're having today as well.
Yes, let us know. Are you a coffee drinker or a tea drinker? Let us know about that.
Yeah, I kind of thought about switching it up and having tea tonight. I mean, technically, it's mugs and in the title, so tea works.
Yes, and I just got me some new hibiscus tea I want to try.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. All right, so what is our case today? Let's get into it.
Okay, so as far as for our case today, we do have a case that has really begun to pop up quite frequently in the headlines lately, and it's a little different from what we usually discuss here on our channel, but it's still in the realm of what we do here, which is shed light on cases that don't get enough media attention. The attention that they deserve in the media, right? So today's case is very complex and there's a lot happening, a lot going on. This is still an ongoing investigation. I'm going to be very careful about my words today. I'm making sure that I'm delivering the story as best as possible, trying not to be biased, but giving you the details, giving everyone the details and just making sure that I'm giving all the information so that everyone can come to their own conclusion, make their own decisions about what is actually happening in this case.
And I will give my opinions.
I know you will. And the thing about it is that I researched this case and Crystal really doesn't know anything about the case. So usually that's kind of rare. Sometimes she knows a few details. She's very immersed in true crime. So I try to find cases that she may not know all the details to, and I think I succeeded.
Sometimes she'll let me know that she has a really good case, and then she'll get into it and I'll stop her and I'm like, yeah, I know this case already. But this one, she gave me just kind of what it's about, and I do not know anything about this case, although someone did request us to do this case, but she already did all the research for it. So it was,
Right.
so apparently, it, I don't know if it's a popular case or not, but
Right, just like it's popping up in the media a lot now all of a sudden, which is very strange because um this has been months ago, but it's still good. At least it's there in the media.
mhm.
So on top of what everything that I just said, I will be using the word allegedly quite frequently in this episode. We obviously do not want any legal troubles, but we want to make sure that we get all of the information out to everyone. It's important because I do think, in my opinion, I do think that things like this happen often, more often than we actually think. And it just so happens that this one is in the news this time. And more eyes are on it, but here we are bringing more awareness. So let's get started and jump right into it.
Okay.
Okay, so this our story starts in the heart of St. Louis, where this mystery has started to unfold. We have 4 adults and 2 young children that have basically disappeared into thin air, and no one knows where these people are. No one's heard from them in months. They're just gone. And we'll start by saying, and I'll start by saying that while we have these 6 people that are missing, at the center of all this is a mysterious online cult that is allegedly run by a man named Rashad Jamal. Allegedly.
Okay. Now, I did know that this was something culty, and I mean, I'm very interested in
Cult.
cults, and I find the whole cult situation like fascinating. So I was actually really surprised that I hadn't heard anything about this, because I've watched pretty much every cult documentary out there.
She is very
So
much so
I'm
into
really
cults. Very much so.
yes.
So it took me a while to figure out exactly how I wanted to piece this episode together because there's just so much going on. There's so many moving parts. And I wanted to make sure that I'm delivering the information as accurately as possible. So, what we'll do is start with what's most important: the 6 people who have disappeared and are being missed by their family and friends. Okay. So, while this case is popping up in news stories lately, this has been ongoing for months. St. Louis police have been investigating this since August of 2023, which is why I say, lately popping up, but ongoing, okay? Um, Many of the families have not heard from their loved ones since Michaela Wilkerson, who is 36, and her 3-year-old daughter, Malaya Wilkerson, from St. Louis, Michaela Thompson, who is 25, also from the St. Louis area, Namam Williams, who is 30, from Washington, D.C., Jeriel German from Lake Horn, Mississippi, and also her 2-year-old son, Ashton Mitchell, also from Lake Horn, Mississippi. These are the names of the 6 people who have gone missing. August 13th, 2023 was the last time that anyone saw this group of people at a hotel, the Quality Inn near the St. Louis Lambert International Airport. But and we'll put this up, there has been a last known image released by the police of Michaela Wilkerson, Michaela Thompson, and Jeriel German. This was released by the Berkeley Police Department, who is handling this case, and they were seen here in a local grocery store in St. Louis, Missouri. This was the last known image of them being seen since August, okay? Now, it seems that the group had been living in the rental home of Michaela Wilkerson in Berkeley, Missouri, and their friends and family said that they cut off all contact with them. They quit their jobs, they maxed out their credit cards, and they basically lived in isolation in Michaela's rental home. If we're being honest, typical cult behavior. Isolation is
Yeah.
very important, to make sure that they can kind of persuade you to do what they need to do. Now, Michaela Wilkerson's mother, Cartisha Morgan, and I definitely apologize if I'm mispronouncing any names. I try to look and like listen to the stories and try to make sure I'm pronouncing everyone's name correctly. So, Michaela Wilkerson's mother, Cartisha Morgan, she called the police worried about her daughter and granddaughter. And she hadn't heard from them in a while, and a few days later detectives did go out and investigate the rental home in Berkeley, but they found no signs of foul play, like nothing that would make them come to a conclusion that something nefarious had happened to the group of people, to the people living in the home. They went in, and they're like, okay, are we going to find a crime scene? This woman called Cartisha Morgan, she hasn't seen her daughter, her granddaughter, are we walking into a crime scene? But it wasn't. They didn't find evidence of like a struggle or anything, like I said. But what they did see is that it seems that the group had left quickly. There was still food in the microwave, there was clothes in the washing machine. It's like they had just decided to get up and go all of a sudden, extremely quick.
Oh, wow.
On top of that, they did discover the Facebook profiles of the adults in the group. And when they looked at their Facebook profiles, they did reference the teachings and some things about Rashad Jamal. And their
Hmm.
profiles had also been public and very active, right? But all activity on Facebook just stopped. So everyone who's on social media knows if there's someone who's posting 3 and 4 and 5 times a day, and then all of a sudden it stops, you start to worry, because most people who post frequent like that always do, or they make an announcement that they're taking a break from social media, things like that,
Right.
right? So it was kind of a red flag to them. So after doing some more investigating and research, the police said that this online group that the six were connected to believes in polygamy. They're anti-government. It encourages their followers to live off the grid. And there's some other key behaviors that the are not sharing as well. Like I said, this is an ongoing investigation, but there are some things that tend to be in common with cult-like behaviors. So one thing that they
It seemed in that way to
yeah,
me.
definitely. One thing that the police did mention, though, is that the followers changed their name to names of spiritual gods or goddesses as well. Like they refer to themselves as that. This is what I'm being called now. And they also refer to their mother as a shell, just a shell that brought their spirit into this universe.
The mother,
The mother
that's like
of of whoever, like if
just whoever's
yeah,
mom.
whoever's mom. Your mom is not like super important. She's just a shell that was made to bring you into this universe. So,
Okay.
Cartisha Morgan, Michaela Wilkerson's mom, also said that, she's worried about her daughter and her granddaughter. And she does believe that her daughter, Michaela Wilkerson, had possibly been suffering from postpartum depression after the birth of her daughter. And she feels that as a result of this, she feels that this online community preyed on her daughter's weakness, on her daughter, because she wasn't mentally there. And because
Hmm.
she was feeling depressed, it was easy to manipulate her mental status. She said, quote, meeting these people online, it seems they just preyed on her weakness. She also said that her daughter told her that, she had been feeling overwhelmed as a mom. And now that she's had time to think about it, Michaela's mom does feel like her daughter was like reaching out for help. Like this possibly could have been a cry for help, and that her daughter wasn't okay. She wasn't all right mentally. And One of the things that she does state is that her daughter Michaela had always been very family oriented. So her just disappearing without any communication, this is extremely concerning for her. She's very concerned about the well-being and safety of her daughter and her granddaughter.
And one thing that I've learned from just my research and cults and stuff like that is that, not to call her weak, but they prey on the weak. They prey on people who are
For
searching for
something,
something.
yeah.
They the whole premise is that we're providing what you're looking for: community, family, whatever. And if you're someone who's lost, it'll be a lot easier for you to get caught up.
Yeah, if you're going through a hard time, so
Right.
definitely.
Hmm.
Michaela Thompson is another member of the group that is missing, and she is also the mother of a young child. Not very much information out there regarding her. As I said, this is still ongoing, but we do know that she left her young child behind with her mother to join the group and live with them at that home in Berkeley. This is according to the police. So that's concerning. She felt the need to leave her child so that she can be active with the group. Shalita Gibson, who is the mother of Jeriel German and the grandmother of Ashton Mitchell, has also been very vocal, and understandably, she just wants to know that her daughter and her grandson are okay. In an interview with NBC News, she said, quote, "I would like to know that they're okay so that I can get a good night's sleep. I would like to know they're not hungry, they're not cold, that no one is making her do things that she would have to pay for in the long run." End quote. So police do think that this missing group have become followers of Rashad Jamal. And they do think that eventually the group will have to resurface somewhere. I think a lot of um sorry. I think a lot of people are kind of speculating because they disappeared near the airport, but that maybe they took a flight somewhere, but I feel like they would have that information already if they were on a flight. So I'm not sure if them being at that hotel near the airport is actually anything of significance. If it is, we don't know. The police haven't released that information. The police just feel like it's just kind of a waiting game. Like they're just waiting for information, waiting for someone to recognize one of them and, call the police or something. It's just they that's basically where they are right now. Just kind of putting in the work and continuing with the investigation.
Um,
Yeah,
Question. Not to get ahead, do they know where the Rashad Jamal guy
we're
is?
gonna get to Rashad Jamal. I wanted to
Okay.
focus on the missing people first, and then I'm definitely going to give you some background and some information on Rashad Jamal. There is a lot.
Okay.
hmm During the investigation, um, okay, so like we said earlier, all six people were living in the rental home in Berkeley together. So, of course, the police interviewed neighbors and people in the neighborhood. And the neighbors reported, okay, there were some strange things happening. One of the neighbors even reported that before the other um, four people moved in, she was on a okay basis with Michaela, and her daughter would play with the neighbor's daughter, and it was fine. And then all of a sudden she stopped letting her daughter go play, she stopped letting her daughter go outside, and then strange things started happening. Neighbors reported that they saw the six missing people outside on a daily basis worshiping the sun, sometimes naked. One neighbor said that sometimes when it would rain, some of them would come outside and be naked and run around the yard in the rain. They
What?
were seen digging things up in the yard, and it was just strange to just see. all of this going on in their neighborhood.
I mean, worship the sun in the rain if you want, but go to the backyard
I
naked.
mean, even if they're in the backyard, depends on like what the fence is looking like, things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, if you have a closed in backyard.
So this is basically where we stop on our missing six, because ongoing investigation, and we just don't have a lot of information here. So we do want to make sure that this story is getting the attention that it needs. If you see any of the people in this group that are missing, if you see anything suspicious, you want to call 911 or the Berkeley Police Department, and we'll include the number in the description box below. um let's get their pictures out, and let's get the pictures out and staying out, so that we can make sure at a minimum that these four adults and these two young children are found, or at least know that they're okay. Their family members do not know if they are alive.
Yeah. So with that said, just share this podcast, share their photos, share everything that you see about it.
Hmm. And at this time, no one has been charged in the disappearance and the connection of Michaela Wilkerson, Malaya Wilkerson, Michaela Thompson, Namam Williams, Jeriel German, and Ashton Mitchell. I want to make sure that we say their names. It's I don't want to just continue to refer to them as the six missing people. It's easier to say it in our podcast, but let's make sure we know their names and have their pictures out there. And if you have any
Yeah.
information on their whereabouts, like I said, 911 or the Berkeley Police Department, 314-524-3311. It will be in the description box below. What do you think so far?
I think they're somewhere off the
I
grid
think so
with
too.
old Mr.
It,
Rashad
it's a
Jamal.
huge, it seems to be a huge like factor in the cult, allegedly, to live off the grid. I think even
Yeah.
I did a ton of research, and it was hard for me to decide what to include and what not to include without having this episode be like 3 hours long. But I did read that police do think that and I don't know how they think this. Again, they're not releasing everything, but they do think that the group became kind of suspicious and thought that police were watching them, and they think that's why they left so abruptly, which kind of coincides. The police show up and there's food still in the microwave. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
does seem like they actually, may have known that the police were gonna come to the home.
I wonder if they have any vehicles that are missing, like,
No information on that yet.
or if there's any ring devices that caught
Them leaving the house.
a van or
Right.
something
But they
coming.
but there were witnesses who saw them at the hotel, and they had to get to the hotel based on I used to live in St. Louis when I was younger with my mom for a few years, and based on the information, I'm going to try to put a map of if I can in editing, but based on the information, Berkeley and the hotel is like in Florissant, which is another suburb of St. Louis. It's not super close. They had to have a vehicle to get from one place to the other. So there might be a
Hmm.
vehicle involved, but no information from the police about it yet.
And I'm sure, if it's open investigation, they're not going to tell us everything they know.
Right. They can't, especially if they're looking for the vehicle. They not going to put that out in case they try to get rid of the vehicle, instead of they can try to just find
Hmm.
them in the vehicle. So something to think about for sure.
Yeah. I think they're somewhere off the grid because, I mean, usually alleged cults, to keep the people under the control, you need them to be in close proximity and away from the influences of the
Mhm.
world. So usually, if it's a cult who has a lot of money, then they'll build and everybody lives. But if you don't have a lot of money, you go off grid and you live in the woods,
Yeah.
basically. So
Yeah.
this is what it's looking like. I mean, I don't know the story, and I gotta listen some more to see. But
I'm ready to hear your opinion after I continue, after, once we're done to the end, because I would like to see where your mind goes for sure.
okay,
So I want to move forward and give a little background about Rashad Jamal and his alleged cult that is called the University of Cosmic Intelligence. On Jamal's website, there
I'm sorry. The university?
the University of Cosmic Intelligence.
Are we accredited?
I don't know, doubt it. But he
Okay.
also has a website, and on the website, it says that the University of Cosmic Intelligence is, quote, geared towards enlightening and illuminating the minds of the carbonated beings, aka your so-called Black and Latino people of Earth, end quote. I see your I see your gears.
I'm 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 listening.
So let's go continue giving a little background on Rashad Jamal. Rashad Jamal, whose legal last name is actually White, so his name is Rashad White, but he goes by Rashad Jamal. He's basically a
Ironic.
yeah, he's basically a rapper turned self-proclaimed spiritual guru and prophet who says that in one of his videos he said that he's from Chicago. He has a substantial online following that he has garnered on TikTok, Instagram, and his YouTube channel, and X, formerly known as Twitter. He publishes videos on his YouTube and he talks about different topics, also on social media, TikTok, like we said. And I'll get into the different topics. It's a lot to cover. But now, currently, Jamal is actually serving an 18-year prison sentence in Georgia for child molestation.
What?
Yes.
Wait, so he's in prison
Yes.
running the cult
Alleged
allegedly
cult. Yes.
from
From
prison?
prison. hmm
Okay. What?
Yeah, and
So he not in the woods.
he's
He not in
not.
the woods.
No, he's not. And
Okay.
it seems that he was also ordered to do 22 years of probation after his jail time. Now, he does claim that he is innocent. He's innocent of these
Of course.
charges, okay, and that these charges stemmed from a child custody dispute. In 2021, according to court documents, Rashad was indicted in Barrow County, Georgia, on 2 counts of child molestation, and there was also a charge of cruelty to children. And then about a year later is when he was arrested and he was held without bond because the judge considered him a flight risk and a danger to the community. I want to also note that he does have previous, convictions in Wisconsin for domestic battery, and there was also a disorderly conduct and a strangulation and suffocation in a domestic abuse case from about 2018. So this is not his first rodeo with, dealing with the law, okay? But
So we got a pedophile cult leader. I mean, that is so basic. That is so like checking off
the
the
box,
cult
yeah.
list. Pedophile check. Okay.
But all of this information that I just dropped on you has not dissuaded his followers from continuing to support him. Through the research that I've done, I've checked out his social media platforms. I went to his TikTok, I went to his YouTube, I went to his Instagram, and
He got a TikTok
he has a
from jail.
TikTok, yes. And I just kind of wanted to get a little background for this episode. And there's on Instagram, the first thing that I saw, a petition that was started January 10th of 2024. And it says Rashad Jamal is a Black activist wrongly convicted. in this petition to free him. And the post basically goes on to say that Jamal is a poet slash black activist slash cosmic scientist slash spiritual guru and a philanthropist, and he was wrongly convicted of a crime he did not commit, and we can't allow this to happen. We can't allow him to be treated this way. And then they compare him or make a reference to the case of Ronnie Long, who was released from prison after serving 44 years for a rape he didn't commit, and DNA was used to clear him, and he was finally released, and paid, compensated and
Yeah.
everything. So they even kind of reference back to Ronnie Long as if it's kind of the same.
That's a completely different thing because Ronnie Long comes from so far in the past where,
Right.
and there was no evidence in DNA and all that. This is different. This is I mean, I don't know his case, but it's 2020 what, 2 when he went to jail,
Yeah.
2023, 21, whatever. But okay.
Yeah. So the post goes on to say that part of the petition is pushing for a complete prison reform, and they want everyone to share on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and remember who you are. It's a really long post, and it has a lot of likes and shares, and um we have to remember that he has a huge following. Just on Instagram alone, he has about 92,000 followers just on Instagram. So
Wow. And I wonder if he had this following before he went to jail.
he's he did have a following. It is continue it has continued to grow.
That's crazy.
Um it's a Yeah, this is not just a few people here and there like, oh yeah, let's share this petition. And just 92,000 people on Instagram alone, that's huge. Now, Rashad claims that his University of Cosmic Intelligence is just a spiritual YouTube channel, not a cult. He told the St. Louis Post Dispatch, quote, I'm just giving you my opinion on a plethora of different subjects, from metaphysics to quantum physics to molecular biology to marine biology to geography to Black history to world history. I'm giving you my opinions on these things. That doesn't make me a cult leader. End quote.
Rule number 1 to being a cult leader is to always say this is not a cult.
This is true. That is true. In the same interview, he also said that he's pretty sure he has never met any of these missing people.
No, he was in jail.
This is true. He says that he does go live, he does his lecture, and he gets off of social media. So yes, he's in prison and he goes live on TikTok or Instagram, and he does his lecture and he gets off. He is still posting from prison. He is still able to make content for his social media, which is why his following is still growing.
What kind of
I see
prison
the
is this?
confused I see the confused look on your face, but after this, I looked and there are a lot of prisoners who have like TikTok accounts and social media accounts. So I'm not sure.
Prison is not
Yeah,
what I
and
thought
he's
it was.
neither did I. He says that he doesn't actually know the people that watch or attend his live streams. So he does maintain his innocence in the child molestation case, and he denies being a cult leader. Okay? Getting more back into his history. Um he says that he decided to be vocal about his beliefs in 2020 after the death of George Floyd. Now, George Floyd, if you do not know is a Black man that was killed by a white police officer in Minneapolis, and it caused a huge backlash. There were marches, there were protests. If you don't know, please do research, on the case. It was a huge case. It was a really sad case. It affected millions of people. There were marches all around the world in honor of George Floyd to bring change and reform after his death.
Mm-hmm.
But Jamal said that he felt compelled to be a voice of the oppressed people in the aftermath of George Floyd. This is when he decided to create his YouTube page called the University of Cosmic Intelligence, which is also the name of the company that he founded. And this company sells his lectures, it sells classes, crystals, different materials that, in reference to his company, like has the name, the logo, things like that. And this YouTube page is very popular. Okay. At the time of writing this episode, and doing my research, he currently has 200,000 subscribers on YouTube and about 203 videos on that channel.
Is he still posting? Will you say he goes
Yes.
live?
There are still there are still videos popping up.
Oh, wow.
So some of the videos, are quite short in length, but it's the live streams that really caught my attention. And some of them are hours long. And he pretty much talks about many different topics. Some of them are hours long. And he pretty much talks about many different topics: nature, the universe, the nature of the universe, the power of Black and Latino people. He's talked about meditation. He talks about chakras. He's even talked about the issues between the Ukraine and Russia. It's a plethora of topics, honestly. He even talks about the enemies that are out to get him. There's
Oh.
so many, right? There's so it's all over the place.
Yeah,
And on
because
top
sorry. When you were
no,
first
go ahead.
saying the things he was talking about, I'm like, okay, that's not, it's spirituality. But now he has enemies coming to get him. Rule number
Yeah, he
three
has
of a cult leader: always have an enemy.
He does talk about his enemies. And on top of all of this, he regularly calls himself a prophet, a messiah, a god in some of his videos. And the
Rule number
videos are,
four of being a cult leader:
mhm.
you got to be a prophet.
And some of the videos, like, they're still very popular. Even in these videos, I saw one that had over 400,000 views. He's
Wow.
doing quite well on this YouTube channel.
So he
And
making
people are
money from
still
jail.
He is, and people are still watching. They're watching the older videos. Like I said, some of the live streams are hours long.
Wow.
I thought about it, and I do not really want to include footage from his videos in this episode. I feel like our audience can make that decision to check out his YouTube video and listen to his lectures or teachings if they want.
Right.
I don't want you to know. I want to make sure that this video remains as neutral as possible. And, I'll try. But it's very obvious that Rashad is very charismatic. Um, there does seem to be, in my opinion, some narcissism. I'm not a professional, but I know what I see. So I do think that everyone is welcome to just watch the videos, watch his channel if they want to formulate their own opinion. And after watching some of the videos, like I said, I do think, you know, he's a narcissist, and again, but very charismatic. And they usually go hand in hand in
Rule
cult
number
leaders.
five to being a cult leader: you have to be a charismatic narcissist.
You do have to be very charismatic for people to follow you, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cult leaders usually do have those traits. Um, being honest. Not saying that he is a cult leader. I'm just saying in general,
Yeah.
cult leaders do have these traits. In his videos, he does claim to be semi-divine being that has been sent back to earth, and his purpose is to enlighten and inform and increase the frequency of the planet. It's like he's being sent, or sorry, he was sent here to rid the planet. I think his words were quote unquote of parasitical invaders. That's what he was sent here to earth to do, to rid the earth of parasitical invaders.
And
And
who
he's
who
racking
or
up the
what
followers.
is the invaders?
I didn't go, there's only so much I could watch. I'm gonna be completely honest. There's only so much I could watch. I did this for you guys. But yeah, on top of that, he's racking up the followers. And I don't know if people are connecting to what he's saying, but it seems to be that way to me. His teachings, we went over some of the things that that the videos were about. Um, and, you know, spirituality and black empowerment, things like that, those are very popular with people. And it seems like that's how he began and then continued to, you know, grow and add more. There's some conspiracy theories thrown in there as well. You know what I'm saying? Polygamy, the conspiracy theories mixed in, Reddit, anti-vaccination, things like that. I even saw a claim, or let me say a reference to some NBA players possibly being synthetic robots.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's like, it's building and
it's
building and
layers to
building.
this.
Yeah, it's layers. And then there was also some claims that the government is modifying the weather, which is actually something that a lot of people believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of see how people are connecting with what he's saying, because some of the things that he's saying speaks to people. And while you're listening to those things, like I said, spirituality and black empowerment, you're also hearing these conspiracy theories, and you're just continuing to listen. He's talked about alternate dimensions. There's just a lot. We don't have enough time to cover everything, which is why I said everyone can formulate their own opinions. So, like I said, basically, Rashad delivers his lectures from prison on a phone, and he has commented and said that he's not surprised at all the hate and everything that he's getting, and that this is just punishment for his beliefs and for him speaking up and, just saying what is right. He also has commented that people hated Jesus Christ in the Bible as well, and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King during the civil rights movement. They were persecuted for what they believed in, and so is he. He's being persecuted. These are his comments, not mine, but these are the type of things that he has been saying. My opinion, I don't know, comparing yourself to Jesus Christ and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, this takes a lot, and it kind of shows you his mindset and where I formulate my opinions about him being a narcissist. So,
Mm-hmm.
according to him and some comments he's made, yes, he said he's comparable to Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, like I said. Also, Marcus Garvey, Princess Diana, Michael Jackson, Left Eye, Kanye West, Kobe Bryant, Bill Cosby. He says that all of these people were assassinated or brought down by false charges because they were trying to expose these satanic plots in the world. And this is the same thing that he's trying to expose and uncover. So that's why he's being targeted as well.
Okay.
Mhm. While the media and many people refer to the University of Cosmic Intelligence as a cult, its followers and Rashad says that it's not. Um, but it's not, in their words, it's not a cult, okay? But I did want to include in this episode that there are some followers or fans or people with connections to this group or cult, whatever you want to say, that have been that have committed murders and have been sent to prison after allegedly after listening to lectures or interacting with the social media of Rashad Jamal. Okay. So I did some research, and there are three people in particular we'll talk about. The first one is Damien Winslow Washam, who in January of 2022 was charged with the murder of his mother, Helen Washam, and attacking his uncle and his brother with a samurai sword.
Oh my gosh.
His uncle was bedridden with cerebral palsy, and his brother was autistic. And, he attacked them and he killed his mom. And then he fled the scene in a car, and, the police were after him. And the police were after him, and the detectives on that case actually said when they finally caught him and arrested him, he showed no remorse for what he did to his family members at all.
Oh my
Nothing. But
gosh.
he has since been acquitted by reason of insanity. I do think that he is in like an institution now, because obviously there's something there. But family members, they said that they don't know why he did this, what happened. His father said that he didn't know, it wasn't known to him that his son had any mental illness or mental problems. There was a minor marijuana possession in his record. That's it. Nothing of violence, nothing like that.
But he
But
was a
his father,
follower?
and his father did allude to, he said this was some time ago before the organization, the cult, started making like headlines. But his father said that he started listening to this crazy group online, like a cult or something, and he wasn't sure of all the details. But Damien started sending links of the teachings to his sisters, and he had been talking about it a lot lately, and talking about getting energy from the sun, things like that. And it was something that he had recently got into about a month or so before he attacked his family. Okay. Then we have two women who have been living off grid in Alabama. At the time, like in the articles at the time when their crimes first happened, it was just kind of mentioned they were part of an armed polygamous group. Okay, but they ended up being charged with the murder and robbery of a Florida student. And this is Crystal Diane Pinkins and Yasmin Marie Hyder. So Adam Simji and his girlfriend Michaela Paulus were on a road trip, and they were going to Arkansas in the August of 2022. Before they were just doing a road trip before starting classes at University of Central Florida. And they were driving inside of Talladega National Forest, and they were looking for a waterfall or something. I mean, they're just like exploring and spending time together before they start school, right? And they happened to stumble upon Yasmin Hyder, who waved them down like she was next to a car. She's having car trouble.
Mhm.
And they decided to be good Samaritans, and they stopped to help her. And they were working on this car for like an hour, but the car was just not working. Nothing was helping. All of a sudden, she pulls out a gun. Okay. And she led the couple into the woods. She ordered them to drop their cell phones on the way. She took their wallet. She took their personal belongings and like led them into the woods. So Adam Simji, who was 22 at the time, he was a licensed gun owner, and he had been carrying his own personal firearm with him. So he pulls out his gun, and he told Yasmin to get to the ground. And he was trying to protect himself, but also his girlfriend, Michaela, as well. And one thing led to another, and they both fired. There was gunfire between the two. And why I just want to say that while all of this is happening, Crystal Pinkins is hiding nearby behind a tree.
So they didn't even know she was there?
Right. They didn't even know she was there.
What?
So right. So anyway, while this exchange in the with the gun is happening, Michaela Paulus, Adam's girlfriend, she runs into the woods to find her phone. She finds her phone. She dials 911, tell them what's happening so they can get the police there. And then she returns and she finds that Adam has been shot. And so she
Mm,
rips off her shirt and she tries to use it as a tourniquet to help stop his bleeding. And she did CPR, but unfortunately he could not be saved.
mm.
And Yasmin Hyder fled deeper into the woods, as did Crystal Pinkins, and police caught them about 6 hours later. Now, since then, Crystal Pinkins has received a life sentence, and Yasmin Hyder was sentenced to 35 years in prison. So they didn't get off. They were, sentenced for their crimes. They committed an inexplicable murder for no reason. This is your choosing. You chose to live off grid. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you don't need money to live off grid. Why are you stealing, luring people to steal their wallet and their personal belongings? It's just a weird case. Um, so Yasmin Hyder testified as a witness against Crystal Pinkins.
Oh,
It
so
was
that's
some
how
sort
she
of
got the lighter sentence, even though she did
exactly.
the shooting.
Exactly. But it was some sort of plea deal, like you said. The terms haven't been made public, disclosed to the public. But again, that is probably why she got the 35 years compared to Crystal. And she says that Crystal Pinkins planned the crime and even provided her with the gun. And she stood by and watched in the woods as the whole scene unfolded.
That is so weird.
It is. Um, and Adam, Simji, and Michaela Paulus were just being good Samaritans. Like they were just trying to help, just being good people. Um, I just want to mention that a GoFundMe campaign was set up at the time to help Adam Simji's family with the cost of his unexpected funeral and things like that. And at the time of us recording, it's actually still active. So we'll include it in the excuse me. We'll include the link in the description box below if you want to donate. It is still active to help out his family. So again, these two women have been linked to the University of Cosmic Intelligence by Rashad Jamal. So
Not a cult.
allegedly the cult, but possibly not. Okay. So that was a lot, and it actually brings us all caught up to what we have at this moment. Still an ongoing case, an ongoing investigation. And it's something that I actually want to continue keeping an eye on for new
Yeah.
stories, things like that. Because in my mind, these three people cannot be the only ones that have committed some sort of crime in connection with this alleged cult.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
um Rashad Jamal, he may be telling the truth when he says he's never met these people. But when you have a following, you have a responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to what you're putting out to the people. And if you're putting out this stuff to the people that's causing them to think that going out and committing murders and doing this and that is okay, then that's on you. That's your responsibility. You know what you put out there. If you're telling people that their mom is just a shell and they're nothing, and then someone kills their mom, like you have a responsibility, all of us do, who are on who have any type of platform, have a responsibility to the people, not to, I don't want to say lead astray, but that's what he's doing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's just a sad story all around, and it's weird. Like it's what's weird is that we don't have any type of conclusion. I know we do like missing person cases, but we're just stuck right now waiting to
Yeah,
see what happens next with this case. Obviously, we want the six missing people to be found. Um and no, if there could be other missing people. There could be other people that are doing the exact same thing in another part of the country. And we just don't know yet because we do not know the level of influence that this alleged cult really has. Like I said, 200,000 people on YouTube, 92,000 people on Instagram. That's a lot of influence.
it really is. Because if you think of it in a different genre, if you think of makeup YouTubers,
Hmm.
200,000 followers for a makeup YouTuber is great. They're going to have a lot of influence. They're going to get sponsorships and, brand deals and things like that. So if you are someone with nefarious intentions, and I'm not saying he is because I don't know, I haven't seen his stuff, and you have 200,000 followers, that's a big reach. That's a big
Yeah, it
reach.
is. And definitely we'll keep tabs on the case and make sure we post updates and make videos as it comes available to the public. But at the end of the day, there are six people who are missing and their family members just want to know that they're okay. um for I mean, imagine if I mean if my son was missing and I just didn't know, I would be a mess. I would be
Right.
a mess. Michaela Wilkerson's mother, Cartisha Morgan, she said that yes, she would love for her daughter to come back home, but her spiritual journey is her spiritual journey. They just want to know she's okay.
Right. Just a
Yes, she
phone
wants her
call.
to, right. She wants her to come home, but at she just needs to hear her daughter's voice and know her daughter is okay and her granddaughter. Friends of these six missing people do not know if their family members are alive. They don't know if they're hurt, if they're hungry, if no one knows what's happening to them. So again, if you do have any information, please contact the Berkeley Police Department. All the information will be in the description box below. And it just kind of, it worries me a lot because it's just and we've kind of talked about this, like there have been some dangerous cult leaders, not calling him a cult leader, but I'm just speaking in general. There have been some dangerous cult leaders, but imagine if they had the internet
Hmm.
in their time, the amount of people that they could reach. And that's what's happening here. If this is a cult, that is what's happening. And it's online. There's no home bases there. What exactly can the police do if it's all online? You know what I
Right.
mean? It's actually, if you want to think about it in terms, it's actually very smart.
Hmm.
There's no compound to invade for the FBI to invade. You know what I mean? So just make your own judgments. Everyone, let's not blindly follow and make sure you do your research. I agree, your spiritual journey is your spiritual
Right.
journey, but make sure you do your research. People, very charismatic people, are very, very good at convincing other people to see things the way that they want them to see it. We've seen it happen. We've Waco, Jonestown, like Charles Manson. We've seen these things happen.
Right. And like the spiritual journey thing, I agree. It's your journey. Believe what you believe, in your heart, but also know in your heart what you know to be right and wrong as well. So if you are, if you're on this spiritual journey and you're following, someone, you're just listening to their videos, you're really feeling what they're saying. If anything that they say makes you feel like, wait, you know, is that, that don't sound right, then research it, think about it. Don't just blindly say, well, everything else they said made sense. So this, this makes sense. This can
Mhm,
make sense too.
mhm.
Like if anything has you going against what your values and your own morals, then you need to stop, pause, and think about it. Even if you feel like you're getting something from that person, you don't have to follow someone's word 100% to the T.
Yeah.
You A spiritual journey is it's personal. So in my opinion, you follow what you believe. You don't follow a person to a T. Everybody's different, but I don't know.
Yeah. But I just want to, I guess, say let's just remember and keep the family and friends of these missing people in your thoughts.
Hmm.
The victims, also the victims of the crimes that we discussed as well, and their families. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And, let's keep on the lookout. Michaela Wilkerson, Malaya Wilkerson, Michaela Thompson, Naman Williams, Jeriel German, and Ashton Mitchell. You know, if you have any information, it's very important to just, hey, I saw them,
Also,
whatever,
if you are these people, call your
True.
family.
Call your
Because
family. Yeah.
what I have noticed, that even though our podcast is still small, there are still people um connected to these cases that see our
Hmm.
podcast. We have gotten
Yeah.
comments from family members. So people search for these things. So you never know who's watching. Also, that's another reason to stay super respectful in the comment
In the
section.
comments. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was just going to say below in the comments, let us know what you think. This case kind of took me down the rabbit hole a little bit, and there's so much more. But like I said, I didn't want this episode to be incredibly long. Maybe we can do a second part, once we get some updates. But definitely let us know your thoughts, your opinions. Do you follow Rashad Jamal?
And if
Do
you
you,
do, give us some,
why? Let
let us
us
know
know. Give
why.
us some insight. Exactly. Do you think this is a cult? Do you think this is not just a spirituality group? Let us know what you think in the comments. We love reading your comments and replying. And just because we might not agree, all of us in the comments, so remember to be respectful, we can
Hmm.
still have a very good conversation about why or why not, so
Right.
let us know for sure so we can have that conversation.
Right. And if you want to continue the conversation off on Facebook or Instagram, you can also, follow us on there. And if you have any cases that you want us to know about, you could DM us as well.
Yeah, we also have a form
We
in the
do.
link below as well, and you can definitely give us a case suggestion there, or Instagram or Facebook, like Crystal said. We're open. We don't see everything. We're very open. If there's someone close to you, a case that's close to you that maybe didn't get a lot of media attention, that's what we do. That's our goal here. So let
Yeah.
us know.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
No, like you really about to send me down a rabbit hole, because now I have to go and look this guy up and see what's really going on. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I haven't heard anything about this. That's really surprised me.
It
But
is. It's one of the things that brought me to this case because, like I said, it is popping up a little bit more. You got a comment about it on your YouTube channel
I
because
did.
it's in the news, but they've been missing since August of 2023.
Why did it take so long?
That's what I'm saying. It's just
Unless
making
dots
national
are
news
just
now.
getting connected.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all do your own research as well, and you know, we're gonna keep the
And let
conversation
us know.
going.
Would you like to see like a part two of this, going more into detail of the videos that are on his YouTube channel? And we'd be more than happy to do that as well. Just let us know in the comments below.
You're right. So is that everything?
That's everything I have for now.
All right. So we do want to thank you guys for coming and having a little coffee break with us. Um, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate all the likes, the subscribes, the comments. And if you're watching us for the first time, then y'all go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe and hit that little bell notification so that you're notified every time that we post a video, which should be every Sunday.
Every Sunday. We promise not to disappear again.
No, we don't promise. We're going to try to stay consistent, even though we're
Yeah,
both super busy people, but we will do our best to keep, because our mission is very important to us.
I agree. Yeah, it is very important to us for sure.
All right, y'all. So until next time, we will see you guys later. Y'all don't forget to leave us your opinions down below, and we'll see you next Sunday.